Alright guys, welcome back. I wanted to do a little bit different video today. Wanted to do a mid-season report or review because we are halfway through my tournament season for 2024. It is mid-July, so we fished in April, May, June, and now we have the rest of July, August, September, and one tournament in October. So we're halfway through and just wanted to do a quick review here. So first of all, I want to start off by saying that so far this year has exceeded any of my personal goals or expectations. I have grown tremendously from the first tournament all the way through now, which is just after the Bassmaster Open at St. Clair. For those of you that don't know, this is my second year tournament fishing, but this is really my first year actually fishing more than just a couple tournaments or a couple weekends a year like I had been for I don't want to say my prior life, but before now. So this is really the first year where I'm actually taking fishing seriously, and just to kind of put that into perspective, I have some statistics from some of my tournaments last year, and then my tournaments up until this point this year, just to put it in perspective. So far this year, I have fished 14 tournaments, and I have placed in the money 9 times. So that's 64%. I have cashed a check in the tournaments this year, which is pretty good. Last year, I think I cashed 1 check, and it was in a 3-boat Sunday Fun tournament where me and my partner, we caught 2 fish and 1. So it wasn't extremely impressive at all. Last year, I caught 31 pounds total. 31 pounds total over, I believe it was 8 or 9 tournaments. That's an average of 3.5 pounds per tournament. I never caught a limit. I think my biggest bag last year was 6.5 pounds on 3 fish. This year, I have caught 168 pounds. So that is an incredible difference from last year. And my average weight per tournament, taking out non-5 fish limit tournaments, and I'm not counting the Bassmaster Open, that's the co-angler, I'm talking strictly boater tournaments, I'm averaging 13 pounds per tournament this year. And my year-to-date earnings so far, just based off of tournaments, is $2,075. So not that I profit or anything, it all goes right back into gas and everything. This isn't a sport really where you make money unless you're cashing $50,000, $100,000 checks, but just an unbelievable difference just from this year, just coming from last year. And a couple people have asked me, what is the biggest difference? How did you get that much better from last year? And I'm not saying I'm amazing or great, but in comparison of my performances this year versus last year, it's been a stark difference. People who have seen me fish last year to this year, they've asked me, what is the difference? And there's obviously some physical differences, right? Like I have this boat right back here. I had a 16-foot Lund Deep V last year. Obviously I have all the electronics on there and everything. That's certainly a factor, but I think it all kind of plays into my confidence. I think my tournament success is based off of how confident I am, not only in the techniques I'm using, but the areas where I'm fishing, how prepared was I. Like I will say my worst tournament this year, or as of late, was my state line tournament, which I didn't really film at Geneva. I lollygagged through practice, and I didn't practice super hard for that one, and I failed miserably because I was not targeting spawning smallmouth. I was targeting largemouth that were just getting ready to spawn and very hard to catch. So my preparation for tournaments has gone far and above. Obviously a lot more time on the water has helped, but the biggest thing I would say that really kicked me off this year was joining a bunch of different clubs, but specifically the Cal Sag Bass Anglers. That was my first tournament of the year, and I knew it was, an elite circuit in the Chicago area. A lot of the top anglers fish it, and I wanted to jump into them to, for lack of a better words, get my ass kicked. get my ass handed to me so that I would learn. And that is exactly what happened. I will never forget that blast off. I was boat 3. There were 7 boats that ripped past me. I just was not aggressive enough. The one spot that I had found in practice, there was a guy who sat on there all day and got second. And because I wasn't aggressive enough and I didn't know enough about more serious tournament angling, I didn't get to that spot and I didn't get to fish it. And I ended up getting 3 little fish for less than 4 pounds. And that really just set the tone for the year. I mean, I don't think I would have done nearly as good the Bassmaster Nation regional at La Crosse. I would not have done nearly as well if I didn't have that CalSag experience as my first tournament of the year. You know, just fishing against those guys, just being ultra competitive and just really just like seeing like what higher level competitive fishing is, you know, is all about. Versus, you know, a smaller club that I was fishing last year, which wasn't nearly as competitive. You know, it was just a big difference, and it made me realize, like, okay, you need to do this a certain way. You know, this is how this works, you know, and it was just, like, immediately, right from there off the get-go, like, nope, you are not that good at all. Not that I thought I was, but if you want to get to this level, this is the kind of intensity you need to bring. This is the kind of preparation you need to do. And that set the tone, and it really has led to some of the successes that I've had this year, you know, including those 2 Cast Nation wins. And, you know, all those things have just been snowballing of confidence. You know, the Sunday Fun Club tournaments, you know, they're small tournaments, you know, 3-4 boats, right? But like fishing those well and figuring things out and winning those has given me just confidence in techniques that, you know, I've honestly been doing kind of the similar techniques all throughout the year. But overall, it's just been, you know, a great start to this year. But now it's, you know, it's starting to ramp up. I mean, I will say, you know, going into this year, you know, like my original tournament goals, I will read these out. Like, I will tell you, these were super obtainable, but I really didn't know coming into this year if I was going to obtain all 5 of these. These were my original tournament goals coming into this year. Catch a 5-fish limit, because I never caught one last year. Finish in the money. Win big bass in a tournament. Catch a double-digit bag, and cull 2 or more fish. I achieved all 5 of those goals at La Crosse alone. So then I had to revise my tournament goals more aggressively. And this is where I'm at. I had another 5. It was get a win in a non-Sunday Fun club, because I'm not really going to count those in terms of a more aggressive goal. I did that. I won a Cast Nation up at Madison. Get a 20-plus pound bag. Current personal best bag right now is 19 pounds, so I still have that to achieve. Get a 5-fish limit of all smallmouth. Still have yet to do that. Win Angler of the Year. You know, right now in Cast Nation Club, I am actually, in terms of when you look at tournaments dropped, because you get 2 tournaments dropped, if we're going off of everybody's best 2 right now, I'm the leader in AOI. Not by a long stretch, and we still have 2 huge tournaments at Delvin and Geneva coming up, but I'm in the running for that. So in the hunt for Angler of the Year, and to win hardware. And the hardware one essentially is the higher level tournaments that I'm going to be competing in the rest of this year. We'll have some sort of trophy or a plaque associated with a win. So it's more of just an elevated win beyond just a lower club level that I'm looking at as a tournament goal there. So, you know, we got a lot of big tournaments coming up. You know, like I said, I'm in the running for Angler of the Year for Cast Nation. You know, we got a Delvin and Geneva tournament back to back. So those are going to be huge for me, that I put myself in the running for those. But, you know, overall, just looking ahead, you know, I have State Line still. You know, there's a championship associated with State Line. I have another CalSag or 2. Unfortunately, I won't be, you know, I'm not really in the Angler of the Year standings there to make any sort of championship there. But we do have the Angler of the Year race for Cast Nation. We have Cast Nation Classic at the end of October, which is like a championship event as well. And then, you know, the big one that is, you know, I always have my eyes set on. I mean, you know, my goal is to see how far this fishing journey will take me. And I'm pretty much exclusively going to go through BASS, Bassmaster, as my kind of elevated tournament trail journey. So, you know, looking ahead, the big one that looms off into the distance is the, you know, Wisconsin State Championships up at Sturgeon Bay. right now, smallmouth, especially Great Lakes smallmouth, is not my strong suit, but it's something I'm trying to learn, and that's why I went to St. Clair for the Bassmaster Open. I need to get more smallmouth experience because there's a lot of tournaments around here that are one on smallmouth or smallmouth dominant lakes. And a huge one that's coming up that I just recently entered is the South Shore Open in a couple weeks here on Lake Michigan, ran essentially by CalSag, which I'm a part of for both the Big Lake and the CalSag division. So I'm involved in that organization, fish with them. They're hosting the biggest tournament on the south side of Chicago on Lake Michigan since the Bassmaster Classic in 2000. So that's going to be a huge, and that one's a team deal. Go with my buddy Brandon Troop. Shout out Troop. So we're going to enter that one. That's going to be a big tournament for me coming up, and that's also going to set the bar and look at where I'm at with my smallmouth ability going into the Wisconsin State Sturgeon Bay, because the top, I think it's top 6 or top 8 of that state championship, they move on to the national championship, the one I just not 2024 but 2025, which is the level of tournament, the tournament that I missed out by 2 ounces on at La Crosse. So I would really love to do well at the Wisconsin States so that I actually don't have to fish the national qualifiers next year to try to make that national championship. So a lot to look forward to, and a lot to be happy about with the start of the season at the midway point. But I still have a long way to go. I'm not nearly the level of angler that I aspire to be and dream to be, but this is my first real year doing this, and so I really couldn't be happier with the effort I put forward, the growth, the learning, time on the water, and the ability to learn from my experiences on the water and apply them from one lake to another, see how it works, change certain things up. I'm starting to get the hang of dialing things in. I'm starting to get the hang of noticing patterns and just noticing little things that I overlooked last year and really wasn't paying attention to at all, or would have in the beginning of this year just not picked up on certain things. So and plus the video making I think is getting a little better. I'm hoping to expand on the YouTube channel side of things. I'm hoping to expand on some of the types of videos I do. I know that a lot of my just straight up tournament footage isn't the most entertaining stuff, and the only way that I'm going to be able to grow the channel beyond that is to start doing a little bit more of info videos on different things, possible tips and tricks. But I really just wanted to get my feet on the ground, really just focus in on the actual fishing and getting better as a competitive tournament angler before I was starting to really pour a ton of time into the YouTube outside of just filming myself doing what I would already be doing without the YouTube channel. So, but overall, really happy with how the first part of the season has gone. Got a lot of tournaments coming up and the stakes are getting higher. So there should be some good footage, hopefully some good results the rest of the year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.